Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Chess Recap. In today's video, we'll be looking into the Game 6 from the 1984 World Chess Championship between the world champion Grandmaster Anatoly Karpov and the challenger Grandmaster Garry Kasparov. If you are new to this series, I recommend you to go ahead and watch all the 5 games before heading into the Game 6. This game is going to be a thriller, absolute thriller. As you know, the most of the World Chess Championships games is always has been a roller coaster one, and it promises you a thrilling game, and this will not disappoint you either. At the end of the game 5, the scoreline reads 1-0 in favor of Anatoly Karpov, as Karpov has managed to win game number 3. Now we are heading into game number 6, and Kasparov is desperately looking for an equalizer. As you know, first Grandmaster to win the 6 games will be the world champion. Let's jump right into the game now. Garry Kasparov, starting with the white pieces, go for d4. Anatoly Karpov replies with knight to f6, c4. In the game, e6, East Indian defense, knight to f3. And in Indian variation, v6, Queen's Indian defense, g3, Fianzato variation. If you have seen all the 5 games before, these two players usually goes for this line only. Anatoly Karpov usually goes for Queen's Indian defense, and Garry Kasparov, if he's playing with the black, he will be usually going for Sicilian defense. Karpov continues with bishop to a6, b3, Nimzovich variation, bishop to b4 with check, bishop to d2, bishop to e7, bishop to g2, Karpov goes for castling, Kasparov goes for castling, d5, knight to e5, c6, bishop to c3, knight on f to d7, knight takes on d7, knight takes on d7, knight to d2, rook to c8, e4, b5, rook to e1, d takes on c4, b takes on c4, knight to b6, c takes on b5, c takes on b5, rook to c1, bishop to a3, rook to c2, knight to a4, bishop to a1, rook takes on c2, queen takes on c2, queen to a5, queen to d1, rook to c8, knight to b3, queen to b4, d5. So if you look at this position, after 23 moves, both have played slight mistakes, but it's still a evenly balanced game only. So in this position, right wait for Karpov to continue is putting the bishop to b2 and trading of that pair of bishops, and thereby he can force a draw. But instead he will play a mistake here, which is e takes on d5. So after this move, Garry Kasparov is having a winning advantage of plus 2.2 if he is able to find all the right moves. For the first time in this World Chess Championship, Kasparov is having a winning advantage over Karpov. Let's see whether he will be able to press on this advantage and win the game. Kasparov continues with e takes on d5, knight to c3, and this is even more blunder. Right move for Karpov in this position was to put the queen back to f8, but instead he is attacking the Kasparov's queen. Right move for Kasparov to play is queen to h5, ignoring the threat, and try to bring the pieces into the Karpov's king side. But instead he will miss the trick and he will play queen to d4. Now his advantage goes reduced, and the queens got traded off. Queen takes on d4, knight takes on d4, knight takes on a2, knight to c6, bishop to c5, bishop to h3, rook to a8, bishop to d4, bishop takes on d4, knight takes on d4, king to f8, d6, knight to c3, knight to c6, bishop to b7, bishop to g2, rook to e8. Here right way for Kasparov to continue is putting the rook to a1 and try to attack along that file, but instead he will play a blunder here, which is knight to e5. Now Karpov is having an advantage of -1.5, and he continues with f6, kicking away the knight. So Karpov here is kicking away the knight, and knight has to move and try to defend the Kasparov's rook on e1 as well. So Kasparov will ignore this threat and pushes d7, attacking the rook. And the rook moves to d8, attacking the pawn. Kasparov goes for bishop takes on b7. F takes on e5. Bishop to c6. Here right way for Karpov to continue pushing the e4 pawn. But instead he will play king to e7, and this is a blunder. Here Kasparov will play another great move, which is bishop takes on b5. He's giving away his bishop for that pawn. And Karpov accepts it. Knight takes on b5. Rook takes on e5 with check. Now see, he is recapturing the material. King takes on d7. Rook takes on b5. King to c6, attacking the rook. Rook moves to h5. h6. Rook to e5. Rook to a8. Rook to a5. King to b6. Rook to a2. a5. King to f1. a4. King to e2. King to c5. King to d2. a3. King to c1. King to d4. f4. King to e4. King to b1. Rook to b8 with check. King to a1. Rook to b2. Rook takes on a3. Rook takes on h2. King to b1. Rook to d2. Rook to a6. King to f5. Rook to a7. g5. Rook to a6. g4. Rook takes on h6. Rook to g2. Rook to h5 with check. King to e4. f5. Rook to f2. King to c1. King to f3. King to d1. King takes on g3. King to e1. King to g2. Rook to g5. g3. Rook to h5. Rook to f4. King to e2. Rook to e4 with check. King to d3. King to f3. Rook to h1. g2. Rook to h3 with check. King to g4. Rook to h8. So Karpov's pawn is one square away from promotion, but he cannot hurry now and promote the pawn. He will skew the king and the queen and take the queen by putting rook to g8 with check. So he had to wait here, and he plays rook to f4. King to e2. Rook takes on f5. It was in this position. After 70 moves into the game, Garry Kasparov has resigned the game to Anatoly Karpov, as he is already 1 point down on material, and there is no way he can stop the promotion. And engine also favoring Karpov. So after the end of game 6, Anatoly Karpov, the world champion, is leading the World Chess Championship 2-0 against Garry Kasparov.